Uh, Myself, Professor Sanjeeva Narayan Singh, uh, Department of Civil Engineering. I'm working as a Research and Development Coordinator here for IIMT College of Engineering, Greater Noida. So today I am going to deliver my lecture on construction project management. God made this earth very beautiful, as you see from the snapshot. It was very beautiful that God made this earth. But God did not provide the comfort and the cozy homes, the buildings, the roads. God did not provide the dams and the electricity. So the engineers, specifically, to be more precise, civil engineers were a gift by God to the society. Without civil engineers, man could not survive the vagaries of nature. Either it is the ice cold temperature, or it is the burning desert. So, but let us talk about construction project management. What is it all about? I'm going to just give a snapshot. So time is limited. So I'd like to begin with this quotation. An ounce of action is worth a ton of theory. We may read civil engineering in the books. We may solve problems. We may design. We may put it on paper. That, okay, my dream home is going to be like this. But that is nothing to the society. That is nothing to the world unless you put them into action. And it is here that construction project management comes into play. So an ounce of action, construction project management is all about action that is documented in the project management documents. Now, where to begin with? Let's move to the next slide. And we can just see that construction project management comes into action when the project is conceived, when the society thinks that we need a project. So what are the steps that a construction project management follows? After the project is conceived and it is decided that this particular project is to be constructed, feasibility study is undertaken, whether it is feasible, whether it will be, the cost will be too high, beyond budget, which we cannot afford, or whether it is practically feasible, vis-a-vis the returns that the construction project is going to give, vis-a-vis the comfort that is going to be, the comfort that the project is going to give. So if a road project cuts short the distance of travel from one place to another, it saves the fuel, the time of the people. So it is worth it if it can be constructed within the budget. So a civil engineer and a project manager works on it to cut down the extra costs and bring the project within the budget, and that is feasibility study. So first of all, we decide whether that particular project is feasible or not. After the project is thought to be feasible and the government approves the project and the designs are framed, the design drawings are prepared, and everything is put on paper. The construction project management steps are documented, and big documents are prepared. So once the documents are prepared, their responsibility is given, they are tendered out. So tendering of the construction project happens, and once the tendering of the construction project happens and the project is awarded to a contractor, after the project is awarded to the contractor and a project manager is appointed to the project, what are the steps that a construction project goes through? What are the steps that the construction project management follows? So construction project management follows after the project is initiated, it is started on ground, the resources are mobilized. Now you'll ask what kind of resources are mobilized. The kind of resources that are mobilized are manpower, material, equipments, and the most important is the drawing and the design. So first of all, the surveying of the site is done. While the surveying is going on, as per the drawing, all the points are transferred to the ground. And after the points are transferred to the ground, layout is done. And on the basis of layout, the construction project begins. So initially excavation takes place where a foundation is to be constructed. Or if it is a road project, wherever backfilling is required, more and more earthwork is done, either in backfilling or cutting. So now all the resources are mobilized at the site and a project manager is appointed. So it is the whole sole responsibility of the project manager as an engine driver, as a pilot of an aircraft. He has to move the aircraft, or if it is a train, the engine driver has to move the train on the right track. Now, what are the steps that a project manager follows? Or basically the construction project management steps that he follows. Now he has all the resources, manpower, material, equipments, drawings, and a construction site. So what he does, he tracks the resources carefully, because the construction activities happen in sequence, one after the another. There are some activities which can be executed parallel to each other. So even while the foundation work is going on, in the reinforcement yard, the bar binder can cut the reinforcement as per the bar binding schedule. So these two activities can run parallel. So there are many activities which can happen parallel, but there are many activities which cannot happen unless the predecessor activity has happened. So only after the construction of a foundation, the plinth can be constructed. Only after the construction of the plinth, the superstructure can be constructed. If it is a road project, only after the sub-base course has been laid, the base course can be laid. Then only water-bound macadam can happen. So these are the steps. So there are some construction activity which depend on each other. There are some construction activities which are independent of each other. So those construction activities which are independent of each other can run parallel. Those construction activities which depend on each other can run in sequence, one after the another. So track resources carefully. Once the resources are there, the project manager who is driving the engine or who is piloting the aircraft has to ensure that none of the resources are idle. If you have an excavation equipment you have to find work for that excavation equipment so that it is never idle. If you're idling a resource, means you're losing on the time, you're losing on the cost. So the most important activity in construction project management is to track the resources very carefully, so that all the resources are utilized to the maximum capacity. Next step is collaborate and delegate. A project manager singly cannot execute all the activities, so he has to delegate powers. He has to give instruction. He has to give instruction to the people down the line, to the engineers, to execute the work within their scope. So the project manager needs to collaborate and delegate. So this is one of the most important steps in construction project management. And next important step in construction project management is avoid pointing fingers. So it is the responsibility of all to execute the work carefully and as per the plan, as per the drawings. So pointing, avoid. In construction project management, nobody can point fingers at the other that the project is delayed because of him, or the project is not happening because of this person. It is a teamwork, it is a team effort, and it is everybody's responsibility to move the project. Hold workers accountable. Of course, any lazy worker, any unskilled worker, or any incompetent worker must be held responsible and accountable for the project. And they must be weeded out of the project if they are not capable of handling the construction activities and to the best quality. So those who are not fit for the job, either they should be given the job of their skill set in which they are masters in the construction project, or they should be weeded out of the project. A project is like a construction project is like a battleground where you cannot lose any moment, any time. Otherwise, you will lose on the cost. So once you hold the workers accountable and then you strengthen your team, you replace the worker, then you move on. Workers are doing their job. Now next, what next in construction project management? Implement rigorous inspection workflow. Whatever work that is being performed by the subcontractor, by the engineers, those work need to be inspected by a quality management team, whether the work is as per quality or not. If the work is not happening as per quality, that work needs to be rejected, and the subcontractor should be made responsible for doing the work again for a rework. So rigorous inspection workflow should be maintained, which is a most important pillar of construction project management. Unless you inspect the quality of the work, you cannot move forward. If you move forward, then whatever construction work that happens after that maybe need to be demolished and rework happens again, and there will be a big loss to the construction project. So rigorous inspection and workflow. Work should not move ahead unless the quality is inspected, certified, and made okay as per the client, as per the owner of the project. Now, after rigorous inspection workflow and after the construction activities are happening, the most and the last step that is most important in the construction project management is create clear roadmaps. Now, after a building has been constructed, all the civil works has happened. It is not that you have to wait for the last day for all the civil works to complete. What about the finishing works? You need to plan the finishing works in parallel. You need to finalize the contractor, subcontractor of the finishing works. You need to finalize the resources. You need to mobilize the material. You need to mobilize the subcontractor, the skilled manpower for the finishing works in parallel, so that by the time the civil works of the project is happen, your finishing works can start. That is in the case of a building project. But in the case of a road project, by the time the earthwork is happening, you need to mobilize the hot mix plant for bitumen concrete. So all the planning has to happen parallel. So clearing the roadmap means planning ahead of the activities that are happening in present. So these are the most important construction management, project management steps. Next comes, there are 5 phases in construction project management. The 5 phases through which a construction project moves are, as I have already described, the feasibility step, the feasibility stage, and that is project initiation. So once the project is conceptualized and once you know what is to be done, that is the project initiation stage. So in the project initiation stage, the drawings are prepared, the designs are prepared, the project documentation is made, and once the project documentation and methodology, everything is finalized, that is the project initiation stage, and the project work is tendered out, and the team is finalized, construction team is finalized. Then the next step is project planning and definition. You need to plan the project. What you need to plan? You need to plan the manpower resources. You need to plan the equipment resources. You need to plan the cost from where the money will come. If you run short of funds, the project is going to crash. You will lose on the project. So finance is very, very important. So cost planning, working capital needs to be planned. So project planning and definition. Then comes the project execution stage. Once your finance and budget and everything, resources, everything is planned out, drawing, design. Then comes the project execution and launch. So launching happens on the actual site, actual project site where the project is to be constructed. So project execution and launch. Execution means once all the resources that has been planned, one by one, they need to be mobilized at the site. And they should be assigned the goal. They should be assigned the construction activity that they need to achieve. So that is the launching of the project and the project execution stage. So once the project is in execution stage, you need to monitor the project. You need to monitor, you need to check that the things are going on well, that nothing is, none of the construction activities is held up for want of resources or for any other reason. Next comes the project performance. So you need to evaluate the project. You need to evaluate that the project is going as per the plans. So once the project planning, as per the plan, whether the project is going, whether it is going slow or whether it is going ahead of schedule. A project never goes ahead of schedule, but it always slows down. It always goes behind. Most of the time it goes behind schedule. So if the project is going behind schedule, the project performance, when you are evaluating that the project is going behind schedule, so what is the main reason for the project going behind the schedule? Which activity is holding up the project? You need to identify those activities. You need to make changes. You need to make changes to speed up. So that once the project is evaluated and the project performance is judged out and you make the changes, definitely the project will move up and it will be on schedule. Now, once the project performance and most of the activities has happened, then finally project closure is also an important step. You need to close the project. You need to mobilize out. You need to clear all the bills to the subcontractors. You need to demobilize the equipments. You need to demobilize the resources. That is project closure. You need to move out. So once the project is completed, the project closure stage is also most important, and the project manager has a very big role, very important role in this project closure. So these are the 5 phases in construction project management that happens, and it is very, very important that these phases are planned accordingly. So now the last but not least, I can say in construction project management is, in a nutshell, we can understand construction project management as the quotation that is given here. It is construction project management is about juggling 3 balls: time, cost, and quality. So we can say that these are time, cost, and quality are the heartbeat of a construction project management. So construction project management is judged by the time it takes to complete. The construction project management is judged by the cost it incurs from starting stage to completion stage. And of course, the construction project management is judged by the quality of the work that has happened. So time, cost, and quality are the heartbeat of construction project management. So one after the other. So if the time is not followed, if the time is delayed, if a construction project takes more time, of course it will affect the cost of the project. So the cost of the project is, but the cost of the project is not only affected by the time. Of course, cost is dependent on time, but the cost is also affected by the quality. If you go for a good quality material, if you go for highly skilled workmen, or if you go for expensive construction equipment, of course the cost will increase. So the time, cost, and quality. So cost depends on time also, and cost depends on the quality that we want to achieve. So there are various projects. Suppose you are constructing a warehouse where the finishing quality does not matter. But suppose you are constructing a 5-star hotel, the finishing quality matters. Even the line length, the shade of the granite stone that you're using matters in a 5-star hotel project. But in a warehouse, it does not matter. So the cost of finishing quality in a 5-star hotel is much, much higher than the cost of the finishing quality in a warehouse or a godown. So with this, I end my lecture that construction project management is all about managing time, managing quality. And if you manage the time and if you manage the quality, cost will automatically get managed. You need not worry about that. Thank you.